Good evening. This is our news bulletin for tonight. Treasury is working towards getting tax forms distributed despite minor delays. Cross Power Niue holds a Parents' Open Day in preparation for a free youth after-school program to be rolled out. The Consumer Price Index released by Statistics Niue for its first quarter shows a slight increase in the transport and communication sector as well as food groups. Youngsters learn about the value of gardening at ECE this term. The Tax Division of Treasury are working towards getting tax return forms distributed despite a slight delay. The tax year ended on the 31st of March and work to compile tax summaries has added to the delay. The Tax Division is tasked to collect revenue for the government, but this is not a straightforward process. According to the Financial Secretary, there are several reasons why there has been a delay. The normal process requires the Administration Payroll Division to process a summary of all salary payments throughout the tax year. Tax slips are produced and then attached to tax forms. There are also other departments and businesses who need to file tax summaries for those who may have secondary employment outside of their normal work. The Tax Division relies on a number of different entities to provide the necessary information that will ensure tax returns are filed properly. In addition to that, the Tax Division itself has capacity constraints with a number of key personnel currently overseas. Public servants and businesses can expect to get their slips and tax return forms distributed within the next week or so. Figures released from the Statistics Division this week show a slight increase in some goods and services for the first quarter of this year. The Consumer Price Index measures changes in the prices of goods and services that households consume. Such changes affect the purchasing power of consumers, incomes, and their welfare. The CPI reflects the average movement and is used as macroeconomic indicators of inflation, or for a general index of inflation for the economy as a whole. Some of the price increases that were noted for this quarter were full return airfares and adults, also frozen lamb shoulder chops, fish and chips, and sirloin steak in the food category. Commodities on the low side saw a price decrease in the price of unga, frozen chickens, cabbage, and carrots. To date, the overall CPI is keeping at $55.27 since September 2003 for tobacco and alcohol, that group registering the largest increase by 99.4%, followed by food group 90.42%, and then household operations with 89.04%. There are various reasons for the changes in the prices of goods and services sold in Niue, but the island is heavily reliant on imported goods and services, and within these costs of imported goods and services, the price movement of fuel and transportation costs are included. The Consumer Price Index has become a key statistic for the purpose of economic policy making. This term, students at the Early Childhood Education Centre are learning about planting local produce with the establishment of an educational vegetable garden. The theme is How the World Feeds Itself, and ECE have opted to create an organic vegetable garden with Niuean vegetables and fruits in their own classroom backyard. The Agriculture Department have been helping to teach the young students to care and maintain the vegetable garden in order for the garden to continue to prosper.
The school have decided to focus on a topic, and the topic is Feed the World. So each class have their own plans for how they're going to teach it to the kids, or how the kids are going to learn. So ECE have decided to learn about how food grows, where they come from, and also to look at our Niuean foods, taukai Niue. So that's the focus of the early childhood children, and they've asked children to come with seeds, and all this week they're going to be planting seeds. They're also learning how to look after them. So we had a a worker from the Department of Agriculture come in and show the kids how to plant and also tell children how to look after it. We'll learn about all sorts of foods that we have in here near the local food, where they come from, also how to plant. It's all about kids learning about food security, all about how children can learn these skills and take it home and use it at home with them. The whole purpose of this program is to integrate all the learning, so integrate reading and writing and maths. So they use the language while they're planting. What they learn out here, they go inside, they write it. And they write it up with the teachers sharing. And what they, and then they read about it with the teachers, about onions, about corns, and they come out here and they do the planting. So nothing is neglected. I mean, everything is covered. Even maths, the other day they were counting how many seeds to go in a hole and adding up. So all this learning outside is also reinforced inside the classroom. They're little kids, so it's always done with the teachers and sharing and a one-to-one. So that's how we integrate the learning.
Teachers were able to assist students with planting different types of vegetables or fruit trees, such as onions, corn, taro, banana trees, cucumbers, and different varieties of vegetables. There will also be fruit trees planted later on by the Agriculture Department, but the task from this point on will be to tend and maintain the vegetable garden throughout the week.
We're going to harvest what we planted, and they're going to do cooking with it, or we also teach children and entrepreneurship, selling what they plant, and so that's what we did before with organic garden. They sell it to the teachers, or sell it to whoever wants to buy it, and the money is collected, and we buy a tin of kumbi for chicken, and we cook soup in the classroom, or we find ways to use the veggies in the classroom, and then the whole of the school enjoys it. But mostly it's harvested and given to them to take home.
This is an ongoing project and will continue throughout the year. That concludes our news bulletin that we have here for this evening. We do hope that you can join us again for our next news bulletin next week. Have an enjoyable weekend, and we'll see you here again next week.